welcome back to the channel. Today I just wanted to have a quick chat about public charging within the UK network. It's my belief that things have massively improved over the last few years, so stay with me and I'll just tell you a little bit about some recent experiences. I recently went on a long trip to South Wales from Leeds, a journey of about 240 miles each way. So went down for a few days, stayed there and then came back. So on the public charging network going down, I may have just made it on the range of the e-Niro. It's nice summer weather, not today but it was when I was doing the journey, and the car in theory can do about 260 miles, 270 miles, something like that. I've never taken the Niro right down to nothing, so I've never actually eked out that last little bit. Why would you risk it, you know? But anyway, so what we did was, it was a 5.5 hour journey anyway, so we needed to stop. There's no way, it's not safe that you're going to drive all that distance, even if you didn't need to stop for a quick comfort break or whatever. So we planned to stop a little bit after 12 midday, you know, 12:30, that sort of time, and planned to stop on, as it happens, an Osprey charging site. There were 6 chargers on the site, so I was pretty confident I'd be able to get at least one. Yes, you pay a little bit more at Osprey than some of the others, but I did get the discount from Electroverse, so that was worth having, because I'm on Intelligent Go with Electroverse, with Octopus, and therefore the Electroverse gives you a bit of a discount on quite a few of the chargers. So we stopped at a pub on the way down, plugged in, had a meal, and didn't really need to top the car up much. The destination we were staying at had a charger that we were able to use when we got there in the evening, so it was just a case of a quick splash and dash for the car whilst we were eating. And in fact the car was ready before we were, which is the way it should be. The e-Niro doesn't charge particularly quickly. As we left to go into the pub, it was doing about 42 kilowatts, something like that. But because I knew I didn't need an awful lot, I wasn't concerned at all. I just left it going while we were eating, had it limited to I think 80% on DC. So on the car you can set charge limits for AC and different charge limit for DC. So I think I set it to 80% and the car stopped while we were in the pub. And we got back to the car and it had 80%, so all was good, and we continued the journey. So we got there, plugged in at night when we needed to, and then I'd set that to 100% because I wasn't that sure around the area we were in. I'd not been before, what the charging was like. I'd had a bit of a look on the usual apps, you know, ZapMap, etc. But I didn't want to sort of risk it and find charges that weren't working or whatever. So the journey down there, apart from it being quite a long journey, 5.5 hours, was uneventful really. There's some decent quality roads at the northern end, but as you get into rural Wales, it's all just A roads and B roads, single track sort of thing each way, and in some cases one way. But yeah, everything was fine. I was really pleasantly surprised that the charging has massively improved. Now obviously I've not been to that part of Wales before, so I don't know how good it was a few years ago, but certainly my experience of the north area of Wales some years ago, it was like a bit of a charging desert, and that certainly wasn't the case in the area of St David's around the South Wales area. Apart from the Osprey charger on the way down, and in fact we ended up stopping at the same one on the way back as the route planner recommended that based on the criteria, then it was all destination charging at public car parks, and it wasn't really a problem. As I say, I was quite pleasantly surprised. We used I don't know if they're council backed or whatever, but Dragon charging, and it worked with the Electroverse card, so couldn't have been easier. Basically park up, grab your cable out of the trunk or frunk or whatever, and plug in, and then tap the RFID card for Electroverse. And the chargers all worked. I had no broken chargers, no faulty chargers. It just started first time once I was plugged in and tapped the card. So no worry about payment cards not working. The RFID, I think, still is the most convenient way to start chargers, particularly Electroverse. I'm not obviously sponsored by Electroverse, but it has made charging out in public very much easier than it could otherwise be on all sorts of different chargers. So I'll put a few photos up during this video of some of the places we've stopped at, just plugging in. They're just post chargers with 2 outlets and you bring your own cable. But some quite convenient locations, small towns and villages. There's a public car park somewhere and there's maybe 4 outlets, and it seems that in the area we were in there weren't too many electric cars needing charging all the time. I saw plenty of electric cars driving about. I saw a fair number in car parks not plugged in and charging, but I never had to go to a different location and find a charger. I never had to queue for a charger. It was all excellent and I'm really pleased with it. I'm hoping North Wales has improved in a similar way. When I've looked at ZapMap in North Wales, that does appear to have some more chargers than it used to, but I've not been for a few years. Obviously, if anyone's going to go to Wales, north or south, you've got to be aware of the newer 20-mile-an-hour limit in you know, the urban areas, the villages and what have you. So it was a bit frustrating that we would be doing 60 on the open parts of the roads where it's unrestricted national speed limit, and then it would bring you down to 50 and 40 and 30, not always each of those steps, as you approach the village. And then many villages, most villages were 20 or not signed, and therefore you assume 20 because that's the current national speed limit for the lower roads there. Sorry, national speed limit's the wrong term. The speed limit in the sort of village areas. But quite a few were signposted 30, so that was a bit better, but 20 did feel a bit too slow in places. And anyone who's driven sort of small roads around the rest of the UK that have got all these 20 zones will sort of know what I mean. But it is what it is the law. So I did use the speed limiter on the Nero quite a lot. It's just not worth getting a ticket these days, really. It's unaffordable for, you know, insurance. It's not the initial fine so much, although that stings. It's the premiums for the next 4 or 5 years that you get charged on insurance that's the pain. Anyway, I've probably waffled on enough, but thumbs up definitely for Dragon charging in Wales. Very impressed, very pleased. They're reliable, they work, you know, you get 6 to 7 kilowatts. My car can only do 7.4 kilowatts or whatever it is. So yeah, very pleased, and it led to a much more relaxing break. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, comment. You know, I'd be interested to know if other people have had similar experiences or different experiences in Wales recently. The time of this video, when I was down in Wales, was May 2025, just for a date stamp. So it'd be interesting to see what experiences other people have had. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.